Hey everyone, so today we're going to be interviewing Tony White. Let's just give him a few seconds to get onto the live.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
how's
Oh
it
man, I
going?
made it.
Great.
It's technologically, just trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
But thank you for being patient. How you guys doing?
Oh, this is awesome. How you doing, Tony?
I'm great, Sammy. Great. Krista, so nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's so nice to meet you too. It's Trista actually.
All
Which leads
right.
me to my introduction. Everyone, it's Trista, also known as Tri-State Sax. I am a jazz saxophonist and music educator here at Playbook. So today on Playing Around with Playbook, we have the artist and educator Tony White here with us. He was honored with the prestigious Bravo Award finalist and Fulfillment Fund for his work in music education. He also received a UC Riverside Chancellor Award, the Humanitarian Award from the Omni Youth Music Awards, and the Outstanding Soloist Awards from the National Association of Jazz Educators. Amazing work. White continues to fight for music appreciation in all its forms, as he has totaled a whopping 30 years with the LAUSD All Marching Band, and he has been the head director now for a total of 22 years. Thanks so much for being with us here today, Tony. To start off, I'd like to ask you our playbook question. What are you listening to?
Everything.
Great
Um,
answer. Great answer.
everything. But I'm inspired by everything. So the sounds around us. So it's hard for me to really just say one thing, but I do right now fancy a lot of pop music, like Dua Lipa. Then I
Love
go back
that.
to I go back to Michael Brecker. I mean, it just depends on what day and where I am. It's all about having fun.
Yeah, I love that variety. It's always
Hmm.
nice to throw in some more contemporary music. Doesn't always have to be jazz.
Right.
So Sammy was telling me about how he knows you. So I think I'm gonna let Sammy start us off here.
Well, no, I will just say, so I had the great fortune to meet Tony. Well, we're getting up on maybe 7, 8 years ago when I came to LA to work with Jazz Lincoln Center's Jazz for Young People program, and Tony had I'd never seen someone who was working with such a range of student levels, different range of age range, and just coming at it with such a place of like, wherever we are, we're going to meet you there, and we're going to just get your experience with music to be a little better. Like, we're going to sort of put enough energy into such a range of levels, and I think it's so incredible to see the breadth of your work. Like you just said about styles, like jazz, marching band, I don't care, like any genre, we're going to meet them there and find a way to make that part of their experience. I'm curious for you, like um, how you bring that attitude to all the different groups that you work with. Like, what's sort of your mindset when you think about how to make an impact on kids' lives?
I think the most important thing is engaging the human experience and engaging the human beings. So whenever I approach a situation, I want to find out more about who I'm working with, who I'm playing with, who am I teaching, and then that helps me to gear up our time together. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And I think that becomes very powerful. And I just think that, especially since this year of year coming out of 2020 and everything else, it helped to reiterate even to me on a more positive level about the human connectivity.
mm,
So it's just again, this let's get together, let's play, let's figure out some things, and have fun in the process. So I think
mm.
about the key word to play, right? And I like again about the playbook. It's like to play. You go outside, you play music, and you perform, and then from there you build up the things that you want to perform and do things with. So
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of adding on to human connectivity, what do you believe distinguishes a successful music classroom and like a music culture in the band room?
It's always going to be about the interactivity with the teacher and the student. The teachers have to always go in open-minded. You know,
Mm.
you go to school, you learn a lot of pedagogy, you learn the latest and the greatest in the skills and technology, but you're going to have to go in and again, ask kids what they want. Look at their history, look at their cultural surroundings and their backgrounds. You want to figure out how to integrate that and incorporate that into what you're doing. That's how ultimately how you're going to create the buy-in. If you go in saying, "Well, this is my music and this is what I like and this is what you have to do," that's instant turn off,
Mm.
instant goodbye. It's not gonna happen. So I think that is so important with that, and that's what I've had to learn. Like for instance, I mean, I love obviously I love jazz. But when I was teaching at Fremont High School and here in LA Unified School District, at the end I started thinking, like, what about if we did some more Latin jazz? When we brought the Latin rhythms in, and you talk about the great Afro-Cuban, connection with Machito and Dizzy Gillespie and everything.
Mm.
It just became very powerful and then made surreal. And then you start tying it into now, say Poncho Sanchez and all the different greats that are out there now playing this music. So it became very powerful and very synergistic as well.
Can I ask,
Definitely.
because Trista's there now too, where Trista's on track to become a music educator. She's studying it in school. What made you want to get involved with music education? I mean, you're a great saxophonist. Like, there's so many people like, I'm a musician, I don't teach, or I'm a teacher, I don't play. Like, what made you want to?
And, and I tell you, a lot of those cats now are saying that I got to teach and play. Well, and I say I've been playing, teaching so long now I want to play more. But it was actually the combination of being a player. But I realized that in a lot of ways I'm still doing what I've been doing for a long time, meaning that I started volunteering with the all district band. But in high school, I was like, I was in this band and I was just smitten about, playing in this band at the Rose Parade, which is one of the biggest venues in the world. And when you have nonstop people clapping and supporting you, and you don't even know what you're doing, you just know you're part of something, but people are just supporting and everything else. So I knew that was a big part of my life. And then obviously when I went to college, I still, was into playing, and then being the first one in my family to go to college and trying to figure this all out, I realized that I needed to do both, right? And I never forget one time, when I started teaching, I thought, well, I guess that's got to teach and that's it. I remember my mom say, I don't hear you playing your horn anymore. So then that kind of morphed back into, well, you know what, I got to do both. I can't just do one or do the other. I got to do both. And that's what I really advocate with everybody nowadays, because I don't think you could, really survive just doing one or the other. If you look at even like the greats with, say Wynton Marsalis, and, you look at, all your publications, everybody's doing both. And that goes back to the adage about why we should do both, because we need to inspire each other. We're inspired by the kids who are learning and figuring things out. And then that helps us to think about things differently. And then how we approach it and how we eventually deliver it, it becomes very powerful. So I don't see it. I just think I don't think it's just one or the other. I think that more of our teachers need to, not be afraid to play for our young kids and let them know what we're into, whatever that is, and then listen to what they are and be inspired by it. I think that's very powerful.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned briefly you performed at the Rose Festival. I know that was with the All City Marching Band.
Yeah.
Can you describe what your favorite part of that experience was and how these major events contribute to the inspiration behind your students?
Well, again, when you're marching out there, I mean, you're playing for 1 million+ people live, and then the millions and millions of people you're playing for on television, and then you come home and you can watch it over and over again. You can see that. But I think the part about transcending students, yearly, and they come in for this experience and not knowing what they're going to get into, and the hard work and the ethic that it takes to get there, and it puts you on that world stage. And
Mm.
I would be remiss not to talk about, you know, that we have an all-district jazz band here in LA Unified that has played at the Playboy Jazz Festival when it was the Playboy Jazz Festival. Being on that world stage and being around artists, and it's just, it's so invigorating, and it's so fulfilling when you can take young people on that journey with you, and then realize too that you're on the journey too. Sometimes, when we're so much driving the car, we don't think about being on that journey, right? Because we're trying to get from point A to point B. And I do it very carefully to make sure that when I'm driving, that I'm looking around to try to really enjoy the
Mm.
scenery, right? And
Yeah.
that's, I think, has attributed to me becoming a better player after all these years. I mean, I still practice, I still play. And it's weird when I'm practicing, I'm thinking about my work that I need to do to advocate and push the music education boundaries. But then when I'm working on the computer, and I'm thinking about playing. So it's like, to me, they really feed off of each other. And they help to, bring a whole surreal approach to what the important part about being in music is.
And
Definitely.
Tony, you brought a group. I was there when Michelle Obama, they did that jazz day too. I came with Loxa. Like
Oh, wow.
that was 2009.
Wow, you were there as a student, Sammy? Oh my God. Jeez.
Do you remember that, right?
I
Wow.
do. Oh my God, that was surreal. Being at the White House celebrating jazz, sitting 3 rows behind Michelle Obama in the East Wing of the White House. I mean, God, so powerful. And I still think about that to this day. I remember I took a picture outside the White House, and I'm thinking, like, it was because of my love and interest of music back early on that I was able to be a part of that process. And those are again, those are moments that I reflect upon now and saying, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I got to just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like playing the saxophone, right? Sometimes, we study chords and we study the music and everything. When we get to the stage and you got to play, it's like Charlie Parker said, you have to forget about it, right? And then you come off of that. I don't know if you guys have both had this experience. You come off the stage, like, say, oh man, you sounded great. I'm like, I don't know what I did. But I do know that I helped people in a positive way to the experience. And that's what is I advocate for all the time. I think for music, it's like one of the missions in education is to have our kids become college and career ready. And basically we're saying that we want them to be successful in their lives. We want them to go on and do great things. And I do say all the time that in music, it's hard to relate that about what is college and career ready and what is success and everything. But we really want them to have a great life. And I think that is the most important thing. So I always say that we really can't measure those things that we experience in music, and our job is to perpetuate it and to allow them to have that feeling of progression and to find themselves.
Definitely. And in terms of progression, as an educator, what are some of your mantras or your mantra when you're feeling low?
Well, when it's really hard sometimes, but I would say one of them is Never, Never, Never Give Up by Winston Churchill. Also, too, I believe in living with intention, living in the moment, making it count, anything positive. I'm looking for new mantras all the time. What does it take to help to overcome and to live things and live day to day and just know that it's going to get better and you just got to stay with it. And
Awesome,
hanging around people like Sammy, keeps going.
I'm trying to be like you. Are you kidding?
Yeah. We'll be changing places soon. I'll be hanging out with you more. Yeah, I don't know if Sammy remembered that one time my boss, he wanted us to have, it was during Christmas time one time, and we ended up playing over at this club. It was a club for a company party, and we put together the band.
What do you
kind
mean?
of was spontaneous. And,
of course I remember. That was awesome. I remember that.
It was like, what were we going to play? I don't know. Here's, we called some tunes out, and then and there we were on the stage playing, and it was so much fun. And that's the beauty of playing music. The beauty of, you know, and I believe in the mission of what Playbook is going after is getting kids to play. And once you get them to play, and then, you know, playing is getting people to listen. And once you get them to listen, then they can contribute in a positive conversation. And I really believe that this is what the world needs more of right now. How do we have more positive conversations, and how do we contribute in a positive way? And I say, like some of the kids say, the hater mentality. There's no place for that really right now. We need as much as we can to be positive and work toward a goal that helps us to be fulfilled.
Definitely.
Amen. Yeah.
And in terms of the modern classroom and technology, what do you think about Playbook that is so valuable in terms of modern technology?
Well, in terms of modern technology, knowing that, you know, that a student can take the material and, you know, work on it on his or their own, you know what I mean, on their own time, and they can explore more. I think that's very important. I mean, obviously, when I was growing up, we had those things called records. Actually, even cassette tapes that we could rewind. But I think having the technology and having things that you could work on that is more, you know, towards what you're doing at that particular time, and then being able to ask questions. I think that's very important. And I think it allows it, but I don't think anything will ever substitute us being able to get together and playing with the people. It's the way that we, you know, obviously being careful about how we breathe, where we breathe, but also to, you know, just being able to hear rhythm that someone is playing and trying to emulate and be a part of that. And that's what you hear in, you know, in like New Orleans, right? You know, when you hear kids down there playing, I will never forget. Before we went to the pandemic, I was down in New Orleans, went to Edna Carr High School. I was in this room with this big marching band, and the room was dilapidated. And it was kind of, you know, wow, it was really kind of surreal. But hearing all these kids play the music, and they didn't have any music in front of them. These are tunes that they had heard, and they were pop tunes, everything else. But the energy, collective energy that they put towards that, it still right now gives me chills to think about that. So creating the environments, these laboratories, if you want to call them, or whatever, where kids can come and be a part of, and they can feel connected, and not be afraid to express themselves, right? That's the problem nowadays. We have the shaming element. Well, I'm not as good as so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. It's not about you being as good as so-and-so. It's about you really taking the dive off the diving board, and about you, doing what you do, because we want to encourage what you do.
I just say it's such always a pleasure to talk to Tony, like how short it is or how long it is, and he's been such a help as a sounding board for everything we're doing with Playbook and just in life to always stay positive. So I'm so glad, Tony. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you would come on and be a part of the show.
Thank you guys. I appreciate what you're doing. You're the next generation, and that's what it's all about. Is about helping the next generation and not being afraid. I don't have any secrets. Whatever I can give out, I'll give out freely, because I know that if my hand's open to give, that my hand's open to receive as well. So I'm trying to keep up with you young people. You know, Instagram. We didn't have all this stuff, and not, my son would say I'm dating.
Instagram lives.
Right, but they would say I'm dating myself, but at the same time, I'm like, teach me. I want to learn. I want to be a part of, and that way we stay connected, and we help the generations. And some of the things that I've been through, maybe I can help you from not going those ways, But I think it's powerful.
Well, thank you so much for your energy and your mindset on music education and on Playbook. It was really great talking to you. Love speaking with you, and make sure everyone to check out Tony White on his Instagram at Tones Jazz and on his website TonyWhiteInc.com, and be sure to stay up to date with Playbook at Playbook Jazz Instagram, and this is Playbook.com. Thank you everyone for tuning in to Playing Around with Playbook, and we'll see you next week on Thursday.
Thank you guys. Take care. Hope to see you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
As a musician, I perform live with a lot of groups. I have my own band. And many times you watch these groups on the stage, they have what we call stem tracks that amplify what they're doing. And you're able to mute out certain parts and add parts. And that's how guys rehearse. And I've always said, man, that's the way to do it, but I've never seen anybody do it until I met you. So between your session and then I saw the platform, I said, this is the tool of choice, because it's so intuitive, it's so natural, it's not forced, it's an extension of the natural nature of music that I think anybody who's not doing this is doing themselves a disservice. And let's just be clear, I'm not getting paid for this, okay? This is not a paid spokesperson. This is from my heart, man. Like, I got it up today. We got it pulled up. You know, we trying to introduce it and get it going. And I love the fact that you got levels to this thing. You got the levels. So like some of these books, you go in, if you ain't already there, you'll never get it. But you meet people where they're at. So if you got the group that don't have the proper instrumentation, like I'm at right now, and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to put a show on, now I have the added luxury of having a performance track that I can customize to fit what instrumentation I have, and most importantly, what I don't have, and give the kids the tools to practice and listen to great, outstanding musicians that they can model themselves with, that they can play along with. And finally, just like that kid on the bike, when they're ready to take them training wheels off, they can mute my man or my lady, whoever's playing, and then they can fill in that gap and still get that ensemble piece, because so many times kids are great in this space. When they go home, the practicing's not sweet because they don't feel the same sounds and energy. So y'all have hit just all the marks in this season, to the point where I just feel like an educator, if they're looking for that transformative tool in this season to bolster what they're doing, and especially if you're that educator who's intimidated by jazz, you're like, well, I'm not Mickey, I'm not Sam, you know, I play the flute, and I definitely ain't Ron Burgundy. I ain't got the jazz flute thing happening. So y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, somebody got me out there. They're like, I don't know how to do this. This is the tool that will allow you to step in front of that class with a level of confidence and with a level of just a level of competence too, to where the kids buy in and you look like you know what you're talking about, even if you don't.
Great. Thank you so much, Mickey.
Jeez, Mickey, thank you. That means the world coming from you. I just want to say that.
Man, it means the world. It means the world to have you guys doing what you're doing. Please don't stop. The world needs it. I know sometimes things take time, but I think anything that's worth the time takes the time. So I just encourage y'all to keep pushing, keep pressing until everybody in the world is singing the praises of this thing. And anything that I can do in this season to help be a benefit or a partner or a brother in arms of so to speak with you guys, I'm all in, because I absolutely believe wholeheartedly in what y'all are doing. And I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all more than you know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. Everyone watching, go check out Mickey's upcoming projects, his conferences, post on his Instagram at Mickey Smith Jr. and at MickeySmithJr.com. Join his group on Facebook, Sound 180 Educators. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Stay up to date with Playbook's Instagram at Playbook Jazz. I see you. At Playbook Jazz to find out more about interviews, posts, and upcoming events, and yes, more about Tall Sam. So I'm going to sign off now, but thank you so much, Mickey, for being here. It was awesome to meet you.
Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Until next time, guys, I want to encourage educators out there, keep on going. Remember, this thing called life, it's just a class. And the world that we live in, the world as crazy as it is, it's the classroom. So keep on going, make your classroom sound, make your teaching epic, and I promise you, your legacy will be significant. Find out more, MickeySmithJr.com, guys. Thank y'all. Until next time.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.